Pastor Tim Gerbing here from Christ Lutheran Church in Pewaukee, the town of Erin, in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. Welcome to our Wednesday devotion. You've probably noticed that Jesus often tells us things that are rather mysterious, like today, where Jesus gives his followers what he calls a new command that really doesn't sound new at all. Jesus says this in John chapter 13, and we read there verses 34 and 35. A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. The Old Testament book of Leviticus, chapter 19, is known as the Holiness Code. Holy means to set apart. God told his people to set themselves apart in this way. He commanded them, love your neighbor as yourself. Words that Jesus quoted as one of the greatest commandments. Now, what made this commandment new was that now they were more than words from above. These were words that were lived by Jesus. Jesus told his disciples that they were to love one another as I have loved you. Very soon they would be confronted by that ultimate act of love, Jesus' death on the cross. That is Jesus' simple plan. It's the message he has dropped into our laps. We are to love one another with a sacrificial love, as Jesus loved us. That's even how his followers know that they belong to Jesus, when they have love for one another. Now, sometimes people wish it were more difficult to prove their allegiance to Jesus. They'd prefer to work their own way up or to be initiated into higher levels of secret knowledge, or to endure severe training under distinguished masters. What Jesus says in his new command seems too simple. The world is in rebellion against the kingdom of God. The rebels have a capable general who has redefined bad as good, sin as attractive, atrocity as pragmatic. Their leader has won many victories, and in response, we often become cautious. Are we ready to live Jesus' simple plan of practicing sacrificial love for each other and for the world? Or are we just going to talk a good game? Many years ago, one of the delegates to the World Council of Churches stood up and proposed that all of the Christians of the world should resolve to not kill each other. And even though the delegate was given a very respectful hearing, there was no second to his motion. It's the same everywhere. Christians are not willing to pledge that they will truly live a life of love and return good for evil and turn the other cheek, and not even pledge to kill in the name of Christ. The key to successful love is Jesus himself. His sacrificial love, freely offered and freely received, saves us, and that love overwhelms our hearts. And then we find ourselves loving one another with a sacrificial love that stops at nothing, not at the washing of feet or menial tasks, not even at the cross itself. Are you ready to love the enemy to death, even if it means your own? Are you willing to answer the question, what did Jesus do for me, and what am I now willing to do for him?